Okay, so we make money by what we say, and which is why a good part of what's going to happen at the Real Sales Talk Power Hour is us working on our skills. Now, we talked a little bit about our mindset just before this, and we're going to talk about strategy, but our skill set is never going to change, especially in how the market's just kind of weird. I don't know if the Northeast is a little bit different, but the market's in an interesting place. So our skill sets matter now more than ever. Okay, let me shut up and jump into this. I'm going to run through this here. Okay, when you can see it, put your thumb up and see it. Okay, cool. All right, here's what we go. First things first, they always say, Anush, every single time, we need to think about it. I need to think about it. I need to think about it. Okay, well, what I hear you saying, Anush, is you want to be confident before moving forward. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and I can appreciate that. I would feel the same way. I mean, usually when clients say there's something, usually when they say that, Anush, there's something I missed, or maybe something you might not be comfortable with. So number one, I'm sorry if I missed anything. And let me ask you, do you feel I can sell your home?
Yeah.
Okay, and are you comfortable with the marketing plan that I have?
Yep.
Okay, and what about the price?
Yeah, the price seems fair.
Okay, and as far as compensation, any issues there? Are you ready to go?
Well, I am talking to a few other agents who are charging,
Okay, good. Break script. Now look, that's all you're trying to do with this is you're trying to get on the same page, David, is to root out like what's going on here. Like you can't just let them say, let me think about it, and then you walk away. Because there's a higher probability than not that they're gonna walk away and you're not gonna get to come back. Okay, so you gotta go at it. You have to at least try to root out like what's the issue. Okay, now price is always the big one. We're gonna jump with that one first. So let me see here. So we'd like to start at a higher price, Pauly, and leave room for negotiations. You hear that all the time, right? And so, David, look, I understand. Getting as much money as possible is the priority, correct? Okay. And then a common thought is pricing a little high and leaving some room for negotiation. Is that what you're thinking right now, David?
That's right.
Okay. So in today's market, have you thought about how that might be a problem?
No.
Well, pricing high means very few or no showings. No showings, no offers. No offers, no selling. I mean, that's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when you were shopping for homes and you saw a home on the market for a longer period of time, longer than usual, what was the first thought that came to your head, David?
Something must have been wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with your house, right?
No.
Great. So let's list at 500,000 so that we can get buyers in here and start accepting offers. Okay, well, we're not in a big rush. That's a big one too. Sometimes they don't say that, but a lot of times they're thinking because they don't have a deadline, they don't have to be in Kansas in 60 days, or they don't have a pending job transfer. But they're thinking like they don't have a deadline, so they don't have to rush. Common mistake, Anush. Common mistake. Okay, so you're not in a rush, Anush. I respect that. I mean, you want to make sure you don't start at a price, at a higher price, and then get dragged down further. Is that how you feel?
Yes.
Okay, well, can I share how starting high might cause a problem for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, based on this graph right here that we're looking at, what time frame do most offers occur? 2 to 3 weeks, say.
Which graph?
So I show them a graph, and you're just going to say 2 weeks, right? Because
Right.
most offers occur within a 2 to 3 week time frame. Okay, market conditions change a little bit. All right, but I use something that shows that most showings are peaking out in the 2 to 3 week time frame, and that most offers are happening in less than 4 weeks or less. Okay, so based on the graph, Anush, what time frame do most offers occur?
Yeah, first couple weeks.
First few weeks, right? And at least the first month. So what happens to the market activity after that? What happens?
Slows down.
Slows down, right? And what do you think buyers start thinking about your home after you've been on the market for a long period of time?
There's something wrong.
Something wrong, right? And there's nothing wrong with your property. So time may not be an issue for you, Anush, but it is an issue for the buyers. So let's do the right thing and create the demand that you need early, because selling faster means selling for more. And at the end of the day, this is about selling for more, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and get the contract signed. Okay, I don't want to start at that price and get dragged down lower. Another common one, right? David, can I share with you exactly how sellers sell for the highest price possible in today's market?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, well, they price aggressively to sell at or above market value. Now, would you rather have fewer showings with buyers trying to drag you way down on price, or would you like to have more showings with buyers potentially competing against each other?
More showings.
More showings, right? So look, more showings, more demand, potential for multiple offers. I can't promise you that there's going to be multiple offers, but I can tell you at 500,000, there's going to be a heck of a lot more traffic and people understanding that based off of your features and benefits, because you got a great house, that $500,000 is a great price. And that there's gonna be a lot of attention with us selling potentially at and maybe even over asking price based on this price. So let's go ahead and get the contract signed. Here's the pen. Okay. By the way, when you close for, does that make sense? And then you put out your hand like you're gonna shake hands, or maybe you hand them the pen, because some of you guys are doing this digitally, right? That's fine. But like, I do think, and I need to get back to this because I've gotten a little lazy on doing things digitally versus pen. But I still think the paper is probably the best way to go to be able to just go ahead and knock it down right now. Because if you tell them you're going to do it digitally and you don't do it right there and then, you get lag, David, on going out and letting people get away with a digital signature. You get lag on them actually coming back to sign the contract. Yeah, you get people escape you and wiggle away. Yeah, dude, paper and pen. Like, I know it's old school, but you get the job done right there and then. Spend that extra half hour going through all that paperwork with them and lock them down right there. Anush, are you doing paper and pen or are you doing electronic?
Well, the first one was she just signed there, but the second one, because it was a different situation, like they're getting divorced, so I had to do the electronic one.
Okay. Yeah. Old paper and pen, man. It's the best way to go. And I need to say that to myself. Okay, here we go. Well, let's try out this price. Let's try out 525 for a few weeks. Okay, well, how do you feel about helping sell other people's properties, Anush?
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, right. And so how often do you think properties are coming on the market?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, every week, right? I mean, it could potentially, but definitely every month, right? So the first month, there could be one or two or more properties that come up that are on the market, and sellers who are motivated are looking at the same exact data that we're looking at right here. So when they have as many or more features and benefits than your property, and they see that we haven't sold yet. Now, could a property come on that's not as nice? Yes, but could a property come on the market that's as nice or nicer than yours, priced as good or better? I mean, could that happen, Anush?
That could happen.
It could happen. And I'll be honest with you, likely to happen, right? I mean, more properties come on the market. I know we're in the fall now and things are slowing down a little bit, but new properties come on the market, every single month. And if we still haven't sold at the price that we're at, or they see us and we haven't sold, they'll price at or below us to get the job done because they already know it doesn't work. So then ultimately, like, we're helping other people sell. So let me ask you, like, how would you feel about chasing down the market?
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
Look right here, David, right? Chasing down the market. Ugh. Yucky. Okay, great. Then let's do the right thing and price at 500,000. Let's go ahead and get started. Here's the pen. Okay. Let's do a couple, just a quick couple commission. I need to change that word to compensation. All right. So if I buy from you and list my home with you, will you cut the commission? Well, look, I'm grateful for the opportunity to help you, Deb, and I really appreciate you giving me that opportunity. So thank you. Can I ask you an honest question, Deb?
Sure.
All right. Do you like your job?
Yes.
And now everybody does, right? But that's awesome that you do. But either way, I mean, whether you liked your job or not, how would you feel if your boss asked you to pay for 30% less than what you're making?
No.
You wouldn't do it, right?
No.
Exactly. So the challenge is cutting the commission to sell the property only hurts your marketing, Deb, because ultimately, like we're going to offer buyers what the market dictates we should offer buyers, and I'm paying for marketing and whatever I'm going to make, but cutting the compensation, it just cuts into the marketing. Now, less marketing means less demand. Less demand means a lower price. The
Yeah,
goal,
but you're already working. You're already working on one property. Isn't it the same?
yeah, well, somebody else is paying me for something else, unless you want to pay for somebody else, and then they get a discount. Like we have to. Everybody pays for the time that I put in on their listing. And so, so here's the thing: less marketing means less demand. I mean, I am still working, Deb, but I'm still going to have to do marketing for you separately from these other properties that I have for sale. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So less demand means lower price. The goal is the highest price possible. False or true?
True.
Okay. Break script. I'm not going to ask her to sign the contract. Okay. Now look, confidence is king. And so here's why you guys got to make sure that you keep coming here, or you go to other masterminds, or you hire a coach, or you hire a trainer, something. Okay. I just heard this at a mastermind I just went to on a guy that I've been following a guy who I follow, who we both follow, the same guy, OG, Mike Ferry. And he goes, either, you're bringing confidence to conversations, or you're waiting for permission. Or you're asking for permission for confidence, right? Right? Like, is this okay? Do you really want that to happen? Like you're like this question, like, is it okay? Do I have your permission to like try to look, guys, they will not follow you to the promised land. You have to have the confidence. And either you have the confidence or you're waiting for it. Now we're talking about getting a 300, 500, 600, 700 there. I know, did you say you signed $1 million contract? No. Yes? Anush?
Yeah, 1.1.
1.1, for the love of all that's holy. Okay? Guy's in the business less than 6 months. Okay? Look, yeah, David, I've personally coached 3 guys on teams that I've had over the years to take $1 million listings, their first deal, number 1 deal. Why? I brainwashed them. I brainwashed them with confidence to walk in, Deb, and show up with the confidence, because all the other answers you can get later. Okay, but you got to deliver in this moment of conflict where they're here and I'm here and we need to get here. Okay, so how are you going to show up with confidence? Well, and then Deb, they said something along the lines of what you were thinking, but they might say something like this. Well, there's other agents who will take less. They say that, right? Well, Joe Blow over at Banana Realty, he sent me a flyer every month. He'll do it for 4.5%. Well, look, there are agents.
There's a reason you called me, right?
Say that again.
Said,
Yeah.
You called me. There's a reason you called me. Why was
Right.
And then you asked them to confirm why they called you.
Now, always, I know we haven't done this in a bit, but repeating and approving is always the best way to handle objections. Any objections or any resistance, repeat what they say, provide some sort of level of approval or acknowledgement, right? That's always real important to address conflict, is repeat what they say so they feel heard, approve them or acknowledge them, and then you can move on to the question. Okay. Always look, guys, Anush, very important. Because if they don't feel like you hear them, repeat, or they don't see that you're on their side, approve, acknowledge, then you're less likely to ask a good question or say something worse. Ask a good question, better, for you to be able to be for what you're trying to project to be received. Okay, so repeat, approve, and then you can ask the good question, or then you can say, well, there's a reason you had me over. So there's other agents who will take it for less. Well, hey, look, Deb, I know there are agents who will take it for less. I agree. And let me ask you a question, though. How do you think they can take less and still offer you more? How do you think they can do that, Deb?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, well, thank you for letting me for asking me that question. And so, full service brokers sell most of their homes because it's a lot more than just posting your property on the internet. And I mean, we know that. We know it's not just putting it on the digital corkboard called the multiple listing service, or else realtors wouldn't even exist. I mean, Zillow, all the homes would just be sold on Zillow. So we know it's more than just that. There's more cost in that. There's more service in that. And here's the deal. Let's create a lot of demand because you deserve to get the highest price possible. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a scenario where you can where I can create a lot of demand for your property, so we can get people to show up and make offers. Because at the end of the day, that's all you want, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to do it for me?
Perfect. And then that's where I'm going to go back into my marketing plan, right? On what I'm going to do specifically. Great. Is this good? Do you like this? How do you feel about this? Does this seem aggressive? Have you seen this before? Something that most people don't do, like circle prospecting or reverse prospecting. People don't talk about that shit. They don't talk about that at the listing presentation. A little bit, but like there's way more few pros, a lot more Joes. Okay. So if you have a good listing presentation and a visual on what you do, you're going to win more often than not. Not always. Okay. I'm wondering, can you cut your commission? Okay. Well, of course, I understand how you feel, David, and let's think about this just for a minute. I mean, how do you feel about turning interested buyers away from the listing? How do you feel about that?
Wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah. Or you know what they normally say? They're like, "What are you talking about?" Well, exactly. Let's look at this. I mean, cutting the commission it means one of two things. It means either offering less to buyers agents, which doesn't help attract more buyers. And look, compensation is negotiable, and you can offer whatever you want or nothing at all. But the less we offer, the less interest buyers agents may have to come show the property. I mean, that makes sense, right, David?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So you don't want to. So cutting the commission for the buyers agents, I mean, that doesn't help attract buyers agents. Or we could reduce the money that goes towards marketing, because then you got to pay me and then I have to pay for marketing. I mean, we start a listing, we're putting, a half dozen people to work. It costs me several $1,000s just to get the listing up and running. So we want the most amount of exposure as possible. I know you want that because you want the highest price, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about an agent who just sits back and waits for other agents to sell your home by not doing very little or no marketing? So they just put it up in the multiple listing service and they wait for some other agent to sell the home. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it.
Right. So look, I'm right in front of you. I'm the guy who's going to get to work. I'm going to get aggressive. I'm going to spend some money and I'm going to get you the highest price possible because you already know you get what you pay for. You know that. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm doing this more for me than you right now, just FYI. Okay. Okay. How about this one though? I don't mind offering less to a buyer's agent. Well, I understand. I mean, you want to keep as much money in your pocket as possible. Is that how you feel, Anush?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if discount brokers mean discount buyers, if a discount broker, somebody who works for an hourly rate or only is going to take like a sliver of a compensation, so they're a discount broker. If a discount broker means discount buyers who are looking for less because they know that the buyer's agent's looking for less, so they're already discount minded buyers because they've hired a discount broker. How do you feel about that? Are you okay with that? Attracting discount brokers, discount buyers?
No.
All right, well, if discounting is their main selling point to get business, what kind of expectations do you think their buyers are going to have?
Yeah, kind of the same.
Yeah, and we're not looking to make a deal here and give your house away. So if they have little to no money for marketing, because if agents who are discounting their commit, because there's two ways to do this, right? Like if we're talking about discount brokers who they have very little money for marketing, people know that they're discount brokers, and so they have little money or no money for marketing. They just put it up on the multiple listing service, and now there's a lot less demand for the property. What if just by hiring me, your property sold for 4% more? What if that? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I would feel good about it.
Okay, break script. Now, what's the average for your market? What do you get? What does your office get? David, I'm going into one on Friday. I'm going up against 3 other agents. One guy sold more in the neighborhood than me. $1 million listing, $1 million neighborhood. So what I did, I went in and did my homework. Well, this guy's got a lot of stuff sitting around. Okay. His average days on market, way up. Average price point, below mine. I've only sold two in the neighborhood, but I've sold both over $1 million. His average is $799. His average days on market is not significantly, it is more than mine. It's not significantly, but it is more. But his price point's lower. And he's got stuff. He's at the beginning of the year, he sold a bunch of stuff and it moved. But he did have one that took 4 months to sell, and he's got 4 more on the market. He's got like 5 on the market. 3 of them are over 90 days. Is that what you really want, Mr. Seller? I know he said he'd do it for more, but his average sell price is 96%. Mine's 99%. I just saved you 3% right there. True story. That's what I'm going in with. What's going on with the competition? What's going on with the market? On you being able to show your worth, your value. Okay. All right. Let's do this.
Pauly, I have a question about that. So when you know you're going against other agents, how did you get that information from the seller so that you could do your homework and see, who you're going against, who you're going against?
Yeah, I went to my broker, and they got all the brokers have information where they can pull all of the agents' productivity, and all of the agents' productivity is there for they'll send you the information on where they're at. And what I did also was I pulled the neighborhood, and I knew he was selling in the neighborhood, and it showed up. His listings showed up, sold and active, and I just manipulated the MLS to show who is the listing agent on all the listings that are active and sold. And so I could see who sold what properties, and I saved that template. So every time I pull the CMA, I see who is the agent, who's the company, and I see exactly what's going on.
But how do you get the sellers to tell you, hey, I'm meeting with Pauly Campanero on Friday?
I ask them. It's in the prequal. Hey, you meeting any other agents? Yes, I am. Okay. I might ask a few questions and then come back to it. Or I go, hey, it's such a small world in this business. Like 5% of us are doing 95% of the job or 95% of the work. Who do you have coming out, by the way? 75% of the time they answer. Sometimes they're a little weird. And then they're like, well, I don't. Well, no. I mean, I'm not asking for your social security number. I'm just wondering, because honestly, I don't want to come out if I think that who you have coming out is either A, better than me, which I don't think so, but or honestly, Javi, maybe they do the same exact thing I do, because I don't want you to waste your time. I want you to get a difference of opinion on who can do what and how can they do it differently to sell my house for the most money possible. So who do you have coming out Tuesday? Now, that's not a script, bro. I just made that shit up in my head, because what are the concepts and the ideas? The concepts and the ideas are, well, what? Remember, behind a objection or behind every objection is a condition, a doubt, a security, a fear. So why would they object to not tell me? Well, they don't. They feel bad about agents competing. Or I don't even know why. Why would somebody not tell me?
I mean, if they're getting multiples, they're probably somebody who's not worried about other people's opinions. They're not going to. Otherwise, they'd hire the first one.
Exactly. Usually, but you got to go in there for it, Javi. And when and sometimes, not often, but sometimes they'll push back on it. If you act a little weird, then they vibe that, and then they're weird. You're weird. They're weird. You don't get your answer. Okay, so you can't be weird. You got to be warm, and then make some sense of well, why are you asking this? Well, I don't want you to waste your time. I mean, if they do exactly what I do, then I maybe I shouldn't even come over. That's a takeaway close, right? Where you're like, well, I don't, that's fine. Maybe I shouldn't come based off of who you're having out. So, if they're going to do something a lot, better than me, maybe I should. I don't even know, but tell me. I wouldn't say better than me, because that's my ego. But I would say maybe they're going to do. Maybe if we do the same things, maybe it's I don't want to waste your time. So who do you have coming out again? And then they go and they tell me. Okay, let's do it. Let's do freestyle right now. I spent too long on that, but let's do freestyle. Okay. All right. So raise your little web hand if you want to play some freestyle, and we're at the end of the presentation and we're freestyling for handling they want 525 and I want 5, right? Okay, Javi's gonna go first while you're listening. And look, by the way, there's no wrong answers here. All we're gonna do is do some coaching on like how to improve. So let's work on some of this right now. Okay. This don't cost you anything. Appointments cost you money. So definitely don't be practicing in appointments. I mean, practice in appointments, but practice outside of appointments too. Okay, Javi, look, I know you're telling me 525, but honestly, I guess I need to think about it, honestly.
Absolutely. I can appreciate you telling me that you need to think about it, especially with a decision this big. But just so that I understand, what you need to think about. Is it me? Is it the marketing? Is it the commission that you're most concerned about?
No, it's not the market. I mean, I don't know. I'm not crazy about the number, but I mean, what you've told me makes sense as far as like what you're going to do to get the property sold. But it's just, I think it's price.
Oh, I completely understand. So based on what you're telling me, you don't have a problem with the marketing. It's just so much of the price. And when you say the price is the issue, you think we should list it higher, is what you're saying?
Well, I was thinking is that like if we could list at 5, I know you're saying 500. If we could list at 525 to leave a little bit of room, like I just don't want to get dragged down. I mean, people they make offers and they try to like come down, bring people down.
Oh, I completely understand what you're saying. You want to list at a higher price so there's some room for negotiation. Is that how you feel?
Right, exactly.
Absolutely, I can understand that. But here's the thing. If we started pricing higher than market value, what's going to happen is more buyers are going to shy away from your house. And, the longer we sit on the market without an offer, the more people think that there's something wrong with the house. I mean, when was the last time you shop for an overpriced item?
Yeah, that's a good point. The thing is, though, is that, you don't think people will come through at 525 to look at the property?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You don't think people will come through to see the house at 525?
Here's what I think, Pauly. I believe that for you to get the highest price possible, the market is telling us that we should start at 500,000. Because here's the thing, Pauly, and can I be honest for a second? Can you allow me to be that honest with you?
Yeah, please.
If we start at 525 and then a month later we don't get any offers, by the time we do the price reduction and we get to the price that we need to be, your home is going to be the clearance aisle on your neighborhood. Now, how would that make you feel?
That would make me feel not happy.
Exactly. I agree with you. So let's do it. Let's do 500.
Okay,
enough?
I'll take that. I like that. Your home's going to be on the clearance aisle. Okay.
You what?
You said your home's going to be on the clearance aisle. That was good. I like that. Okay, so when you go to filter down right at the front, Javi, coaching moment is ask them one by one. So let me ask you, was it you need to think about it. I get that. Like, how did you feel about the marketing? Blah, 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 blah. How did you feel about the price? How did you feel about, like, filter them right down. Like, take them through it. Okay. Is it me? How's my breath? Is my bad? Do I have bad breath? Is that the problem? Ha, 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 ha. Sometimes a little laughter, right? Like in tense scenarios, you get some people to laugh. That's a big thing. Big thing. Okay. You get a little chuckle, and that can help us come back to us being human together. Okay. Just for a small technicality's sake, like ands, not buts, right? But sometimes I'll say but on purpose to like totally negate what I just said. But and's a good filler word, Javi, where it supplements, it doesn't negate. And I'm looking for all the little inches as a pro, as like a high level communicator to make all of my communication positive and progressive. It wasn't that bad actually. I'm just giving you a pro tip from like ands, not buts. Okay, I like that. You know what I would love though? I know. And how do I know? Show them some data. Maybe on these role plays, you guys make up some data here. Well, look, are any people going to come through at 525? Well, Javi, I know that they're not. Look at this withdrawn. I know that they're not. Look at this guy who was he's at 475 now, and he doesn't have nearly as many features and benefits as you, and he already started at 525. Okay, that's a way to say I know. And there it is. Okay, and look, what we know is that when properties sit on the market a longer period of time without any offers, they sell for less. We know that. We know that, right? And that could now I'm starting to use some NLP, right? Embedded commands. And Javi, you probably know that too, like inside. Like the longer something is for sale, like probably the worse off it is. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you something because I noticed as I was about to close you and I said, "Hey, when was the last time you shopped for an overpriced item?" And then I delivered the clearance aisle in your neighborhood. You kind of tone it down. Is there a part of that conversation where you felt uncomfortable? Because I felt like you were literally lowering your tone as we're heading to the close. Why was that?
You have to be careful because for me as a high D and high C, that might be okay because I'm more logic oriented. So my brain's gonna go, yeah, I don't want to be clearance. For a high I or for so I immediately like lowered my and I was like, oh shit, I don't want to be clearance. But for a high I or for a high S, David, be careful, dude, because that could actually backfire on you. And then they go, well, I'm not going to give my house away. Well, yeah, I know. You're not going to give your house. That's why I'm saying that. Is that the longer you're on the market, the people start thinking like you just said a minute ago, is they start feeling like maybe there's something wrong with it, and then so they think that they want a discount. You could recover from that, right? That was a good way to recover from that, but you got to be careful because a high I or a high S, remember, emotion based. D's are logic based. So clearance is that logically that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I don't want that. Emotionally, that hurts my feelings. Emotion based people, right? All right, good. All right, let's go. David, look, I know you're telling me 500,000, but honestly, I guess I just need to think about it.
Yeah, I understand, Pauly, that you want to get the most amount possible for the home, correct?
I do. That's why I guess I just want to be careful.
What was the objection again there, Pauly?
Well, I need to think about it. I mean, 500, I was really hoping for higher. So I need to think about it.
Okay, and it's just the price now, Pauly, that you're thinking about. It's not the marketing, the positioning, anything like that. Right now, it's coming down to price.
At this point, it is.
Okay, and I understand you want to maybe go a little bit higher and leave some room for negotiation. That's what you're thinking about right now, correct?
Well, that's yeah, I have thought about that. I mean, if I could just leave some room, I just don't want to get pulled down,
Yeah. In today's market, have you thought about how that's a problem?
I have not. What do you mean?
Well, look, pricing it high means few to no showings, no showings, no offers, no selling. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
When you were shopping for homes last year, I mean, you just bought this a year ago, when you were looking and you saw days on market above 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, what was the first thing that came to your mind, Pauly?
What's going on? What's the problem?
What's the problem? Exactly.
Yeah.
And can I share exactly how sellers fall for that sort of a plan?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, the house, the longer it sits, the less that you're going to end up making. You're chasing the market down, and days on market continues to go up. And you mentioned, Pauly, that you wanted to get down with your grandkids in Florida by the end of the year, correct?
Yes.
Let's do the right thing, Pauly. It's listed at 5.
Okay, I
Here's
like
a
it.
pen.
I'll take it. That was good. Good even energy. Like authoritative when your energy's clean and I felt it was strong, right? You used some of the stuff that we were using and going over on the objection handling. How did you feel about it, David?
I got tripped up a little bit on it.
In the
Wasn't
beginning, a
listening
little
to you.
bit, but I think your repeating and approving was really good. You know what? You reminded me. I wrote down This is why I love doing this too, because it reminds me of tools. Just like an athlete, man, like you forget plays, you forget skills, right? And one of the plays I remember was isolating the objection. I haven't done that in a while, right? Isolating the objection. So right at the end, you did a little bit of what Hobby did. You're like, okay, so I kind of already told you like it was kind of about price, so you didn't need to go one by one again. But if you get the objection, you go, okay, so it's price, and they go, yeah, okay, so isolating the objection is okay. Listen, David. So what I hear you saying, level shift, right? What I hear you saying is that if you felt more comfortable about the price, that you'd feel more comfortable moving forward. Is that what your thoughts are?
Yeah.
Okay, break script. Now look, I didn't say your price, the price that you want, because that's not the truth. The truth is this is the price. Now I said feel comfortable with the price. Okay, because I got to start shifting their mindset from what they think reality is to what actually is reality. So I got to be careful with my words. So level shifting, what I hear you saying, I'm getting the feeling, David. So what I see is that, so what I'm hearing, so I see that you feel, so, okay, level shifting, sensory level shifting starts to be able to transfer what the objection is to what it needs to be. And then I go, isolating the objection would be, all right, so if you felt comfortable with fill in the blank on objection, you'd feel comfortable moving forward. Are those your thoughts? Is that how you feel? Okay. If I isolate that objection, I can really zero in because now, David, I've got agreement with them that like, okay, this is the problem. Okay, so if that's not a problem anymore, can we move forward? And then they go, yes. Okay, well, wait a minute. Let's go. You said you're good. If we can solve that, let's solve it. Let's solve it. Okay, good job, good job, good job. Anush, 500 seems low, honestly. Like I really just honestly like to start higher.
Sure, yeah, and I understand because obviously everybody wants to get the highest amount that they can. Um, the way I do it, so as I understand it, you're not comfortable with the list price, right? If you do it at 525.
Well, I'm not. I don't want to start at 500. I'd rather start at 525.
Right. So in that case, the list price is not gonna be, the sale price, right? The list price is only is to attract more buyers. So they're gonna be, fighting for your house, which drives up the home price. If, like we've discussed already, if we do 525, the market, as is telling us that we will have fewer showings based on what we analyze that has been going on around this area. And we only get one impression at, one chance at a first impression. So we have the highest chance of getting an offer within the first few weeks. Uh, I don't know, to go through.
What do you mean you don't know where to go? You're the listing agent. I don't know where to go
Uh,
either. I
so the only reason why you're not comfortable with the 500 is because you want to get 525, right?
exactly. I mean, I know I see 525 is higher. I see that. I just
Right.
I don't want to start at 500 and then get dragged down further.
Right. Well, the way, like, let's say if we list it at 525 and we don't get a lot of showings or, offers, then we do have to cut the price, which will, obviously hurt our chances of getting the house sold. And by the time we are past the first month, what do you think people are gonna think if the house sits on the market?
I don't. Maybe they think there's something wrong with it, but there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the house, but people will think that there is something wrong and they don't even bother, seeing the house. Uh, but if you list it at 500, most people whose budgets are, let's say, 475 to 500 are gonna come see the house. And also another bracket of people who are looking to buy a house between 500 and 525, those people are also gonna want to see the house, which kind of doubles the buyers that, we want to attract. Does that sound fair to you?
It sounds fair.
Okay, why don't we list it at 500 then, so we can get as many buyers as we can to see the house?
Okay, good. Good close. Good close. Good close. See, great opportunity, Anush, to just keep going, right? Because I'm not gonna get a timeout in real life, right? Like I gotta
Right.
keep going. And here's what I need to clean up. Ready? Coaching moment. Just for time's sake, I'm gonna hurry this up. Questions, 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 questions. More questions, more questions. You said good stuff. What you said was good. Nothing wrong with it. I liked it. But when
Yeah.
you talk for more than 30 seconds to a minute, like I'm trying to constantly get engagement with my body language, but also like any time I can ask more questions, better, 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 better. Turn those ideas on what you're trying to say, Anush, into questions. Okay, I just came up with this concept right now. Okay, you guys should write this down. Because if you come up with this context of like how to ask better questions. Okay, so what can I ask better questions about? Okay, here's level 1. Situation, motivation. Situation, motivation. Situation, motivation. Now look, you guys have beautiful brains. What are the questions? Here they are right here. Who, what, where, when, how, why? I don't like why. Why ends up putting people on the defensive? Javi, why is not a great question, okay? But who, what, where, when, how? Who, what, when, where, how? Situation. Who, what, when, where, how? Motivation. Okay, that's the base of the conversation to figure out what's going on. Or maybe even an objection handling in this scenario where I go, well, wait a minute. You mentioned you still had to be in Florida in 90 days. Is that right? Yes. Okay. And how would your mom feel if you weren't there? Well, she'd be upset. She needs medical care. So, what about the moving trucks and all that? How's that all going to work out? Okay, now I'm just establishing a base of situation, a base of motivation. I can still use that in an objection handling scenario. Okay, level 1, situation, motivation, questions. That's why I love doing this. Okay, all right. Level 2, risks, rewards. Who, what, when, where, how, risks. Who, what, when, where, how, rewards. And then you finish them off with think, feel. Who, what, when, where, how, your thoughts. Who, what, when, where, how, your feelings. Because that finishes them off, right? Because when you create a base with situation and motivation, and then you start asking questions rooted in risks or rewards, and then you finish that with how they think or how they feel, there's the framework right there. There's the framework. Now put your beautiful brain to work on asking better questions. Okay, your takeaways today, Javi. What's your big aha?
That, just that, which just explained the level 1 situation, motivation, level 2 risk plus rewards, and then level 3 feel and think to finish them off. It truly puts you in control in the driver's seat in the conversation, and it allows you to close and actually be in the same in the same perspective or direction with the seller, so that you guys are, what's the word that I'm looking for here? In the same page.
Yeah. I love it. Big aha, David.
I like this last thing you just did here: situation, motivation, risk, reward, think, feel in levels.
Yeah. I'm gonna figure this out in the next year because look, nobody's doing what we're doing here. Nobody. I'm too busy making money on real estate to like put money into marketing to like make something like this fly because I gotta make money. Okay, just how it is, right? I make a lot of money selling real estate, but this is my passion. Okay, I love doing this, and I'll find a way to transition over to this and create a structure around this. But look, nobody's doing this here. Nobody. I'm like, how do I have better conversations? And then what's our strategies and skills? Because at the end of the day, like all the stuff and all the things, like ultimately I have to become a better leader and a better business owner. That's another category. But like to like fast track our business, to like take our business to the next level, like quickly, initially, impactfully, immediately, right here. Blah, 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 blah. Are you consistent? Are you tracking your numbers, right? Am I working on continuing to refine and increase my skill set? Okay, Anush, What's your big aha? Finish us off.
Yeah, just to ask more questions instead of like talking too much, which makes you kind of like explain yourself more. The way you talk, the longer you talk, the longer you have to kind of explain yourself why they should do it, you know.
And then the longer they're focused on what you think and what you feel versus you asking better questions on what they think and what they feel. And now they're so much more engaged in the conversation, invested like psychologically and emotionally, because they're talking about what they think and what they feel. Like it's as simple as going like, what do you think? What do you feel? But like asking better question roots what's happening here and what's happening here versus you going blah, blah, blah. This is what I think. This is what I feel. Guess what? They don't care. They don't care. I mean, they want you to lead them, but like we're all selfish. We care about what we think and how we feel. Okay, get good at asking those questions. Remember, get to know the people. The conversation is the relationship. Have a great week. See you guys next week.